Hey y'all, welcome to Veggie Farming. I'm Stacy. Today I'm taking you with me while I get everything cleaned out and start getting my beds ready for spring. As you can see, almost everything in here has started to flower and go to seed. So today I'm going to start cleaning it out, and I have a special project for this bed, so I'll show you that as well. But I want to get this cleaned out so I can start working on this bed. I see bees all over it. I hate to take them out, but I have way too many collard seeds already from the last plants I let go to seed, so I actually don't need these. I may keep just one, but we'll see. And we'll see if they let me cut these plants down also. So I'm gonna harvest some leaves first, and then I'm gonna get this plant out of here. Let me show you a close-up of what's happening in this bed. I had some plants that didn't make it through the freeze, and I just cut them off at the base. And you can see the stalk there, the main stalk, and it started to grow back. My carrots and beets that I planted in early fall just didn't make it through our couple of days of hard freezes. As you can see here, they're all mushy and wet. And I don't think that's just from the freeze. This is a couple of days after the freeze, and this soil is still really moist. I don't think these beds have the proper drainage. I opened up one of the carrots that I pulled out, and it was full of water. So I'm going to add some sand to help increase the drainage in these beds. Hopefully, I won't regret adding this extra drainage because both of these beds are in full sun. So in the heat of summer, anything I plant in these beds always benefits from that extra moisture. So I'll just have to pay extra close attention and make sure everything in this bed stays watered properly. After I amend this soil, I'm going to replant the carrots and the beets, and I'll show you that process. Hopefully, I'll have time to get a harvest in spring before it gets too hot. I'm placing this paper over the carrots to help keep them moist so that I'll get better germination. Once I get germination, I'll remove the paper so that they can get the sunlight they need to grow. A couple of weeks later, they've germinated and started to grow back in nicely. I decided to grow these organic potatoes that I had in the kitchen that just started to sprout, so I figured why not put them in the soil. I'm using this rose and flower fertilizer because it's all I had at the time. It's a long-acting, low NPK fertilizer. It should be fine for potatoes. So I'm just going to get that mixed into the soil. And then I'm going to start digging out the potatoes with the best number of eyes on them. So I'm just searching through this bag to find the ones that have the most sprouts on them. This is a 12 by 12 inch pot, so about 1 square foot, and I'm going to put about 5 or 6 of these potatoes in there. That might be pushing it a bit, but I'm going to try it anyway. I wasn't sure whether these are determinate potatoes that grow all in a single layer and don't require you to heal them as they grow, or if these were indeterminate potatoes that would require them to be healed. I started out here with just a full pot of soil. Later, I went back and removed half of this soil and decided that I would go ahead and heal it as it grew. After a few more weeks, it was time to add more soil, so I just topped it off and added soil all the way to the top of the container. It's been a few weeks since then, and this is how they look now. I'm planting my onions, and I have some Texas Legend short day onions from Dixondale Farms. I also started some onions from seed, some red onions. And I'm just going to get this bed amended with some bone meal, and I'm going to use that same rose and flower fertilizer that I used with the potatoes. As you can see here, it has a 3-4-3 NPK ratio. And so I'm just going to sprinkle this on the top and just get both of them mixed in before I start planting the onions. Now that I have the bed amended and leveled out, I'm going to separate the onions that I grew from seed. I grew them all in one clump because the roots are easily separated. So I'm going to lay them out, determine which ones look the best, and then I'll decide which ones I want to plant. This is my first year growing onions from seed, and I did an experiment and found out that I can start these onion seeds in my hydroponic systems. I just need to get the timing right. So next year, I'll probably grow all of my onions from seed now that I know exactly how long it'll take. These are the onion plants that I ordered from Dixondale Farms. This is my third year ordering from them, and they've done pretty well for me in the past. But this year, the plants that I received seem extra dry and brittle. You can see as I start to try to separate them, they're kind of sticking together and just pieces are flaking off. So hopefully they do as well as they have in the past. This is just more motivation for me to grow my own onions from seed next year. It took a little longer than I expected to get my beds mostly cleaned out, but I think I'm in a good spot. So my final project for this day is going to be to get these garden hoops down. This is my first season with these hoops, and these are the GardenerSupply.com Zenith Garden Hoops, and they connect in the middle, so I'm just pulling them apart so I can store them away. And you can see there is a little bit of rust right where they connected. But other than that, they held up well. They didn't crush. They held the weight of the fabric that I put over them during the freeze. So once I took them all apart and split them into two, I'm just using some of those vegetable twist ties, and that'll hold them together. And then I'm just going to lean them against the wall in the garage so they'll be out of the elements until I need them next season. So spring is here in Zone 8B. It's time to get started. All of the seeds that I started indoors are ready to come outside. I'm starting a new project that will hopefully change the way I garden in the next few seasons. So I'm going to take you on that journey. So thanks for watching. Happy growing.